Good afternoon. This is Vicki Hill, and welcome to Community Connections, community talk for community people. And I'm sitting in for Joyce Harvin today, and I'm so glad to be here. I have two great guests with me today. I have Dr. Faturti, MD, and I have Dr. Delisha Pruitt. Welcome, ladies.
Thank you for having us.
You are welcome. Listen, I'm going to tell you about Dr. Faturti. Dr. Faturti recently joined CMU Health at the end of August 2024 as a pediatrician. She is focused on the wellness and specialized care of babies, adolescents, and young adults. Dr. Delisha Pruitt, she is a native of Saginaw and has served in the role of Saginaw County Health Department Medical Director and as a physician of CMU Health for over 8 years. She sets the medical guidance for the county's health programs and policies, ensuring the quality and safety of the services and outcomes. Dr. Pruitt also sees patients at CMU Health location. Again, welcome, ladies.
Thank you.
You are welcome. Today, we're going to talk about safe sleep, separate sleep. Is that correct?
Yes.
All right. So when I was reading about safe sleep, I began to think about SID, sudden infant death syndrome, right? I began to think about that, and I wanted to know as I was reading all of the information what the difference was. So we've been having a conversation behind the scenes, and now we're going to bring that conversation to the forefront. So I'm going to start with you, Dr. Faturti. Tell me all about safe sleep.
So, what brought about safe sleep? I think that is where we should start the discussion for today.
Okay.
Why is it so important to talk about safe sleep? Safe sleep is quite important because babies sleep majority of the time. That's all they do. Aside of eating, the next thing they do is to sleep. So why is safe sleep important? It's been found that there's been death related to sleep. And this death is becoming a public health issue with the increase in number of deaths in our locality, especially the Saginaw County. It's about 8.8%, almost 9% in Saginaw County, and in the city, it's gone up to 13.8%.
Wow.
So it's very important we talk about this, pass the message across to our community about safe sleep because of the increased death related to the sleep pattern, the surface where they sleep, and the way they are sleeping, how they are positioned.
Okay. All right. So, and that's very good information. So, as we were talking a little bit earlier, when we talked about safe sleep, separate sleep. All right. So, Dr. Pruitt,
Yes.
give me a little bit more information on the safe sleep, the separate sleep, and why it is important that we get this information out to our communities.
Well, in our community last year, if we removed a stillbirth, safe sleep was more than 50% of the cost of death for the kids in the community. So this is really important to get this information out. A lot of times moms have the babies right next to them in the bed because they're tired and they want to feed the baby. And then a safe sleep situation would be that the mom rolled on top of the baby. A safe sleep situation could be more than the baby is in a crib or in a bed and that person rolls on the baby. So we've heard of, in some of the cases, another child rolled on the baby. The safe sleep, we look at the ABCs of safe sleep. A, you want the baby alone in the bed without toys, without anything but the fitted sheet. B, they need to be by themselves alone. What was the B?
The B is the baby should be alone by
themselves. And then C, in a crib or on their back. So A is alone, B on their back, and then C is in a crib or in a pack and play separate. It shouldn't be in a big bed with everybody else because of these rolling incidents and these safe sleep incidents. There were some incidents where there was a wall in the bed and the baby fell in that little crevice, just a small crevice, just enough to smother the baby. These are the things that we want to get to our moms so they know, because this is a major issue in our community.
It is. And as we were talking about, and we talked about the baby being alone in the bed and how the baby should be positioned in the bed. And I remember saying, you know, I'm dating myself, but back in the day, they didn't teach that the baby had to be on its back.
Right.
They taught that the babe should be on its stomach.
That's right.
So if anything came up, it was coming out of the mouth. But now, of course, things we get more information.
Yeah.
Studies are being done,
Right.
And we learn better. And
When you know better, you do better.
absolutely, when you know better, you do better. But back then, they weren't teaching it that way. So mothers that raised their kids a long time ago would probably, maybe not argue with it, would probably discuss with you, well, I raised my baby that way and nothing happened to my baby. But as you said, Dr. Faturity, it only takes that one child.
That's right.
It only takes that one child. So what we're trying to do and what you're trying to do is prevent and also educate the mothers on how to handle their babes. Am I right?
That's right.
So the Back to Sleep campaign, which is a campaign made by the Academy of Pediatrician, the Back to Sleep campaign is brought up because of the increased rate of babies dying in their sleep. And the back to sleep means whenever the baby is asleep, he has to be on the bed, on the back. Sleep always on the back on a firm surface. We cannot we cannot overemphasize this.
Yes.
The baby has to be on the flat, firm surface with a feeded sheet. There shouldn't be any soft toys, no toys. The baby can be swaddled, but not a blanket over the baby.
That's
because
right.
babies move a lot during sleep. They can accidentally pull the blanket over their head. Moms get tired. You have to keep your baby away from you when the babies are asleep. You can share the same room, but do not share the bed. Don't co-sleep with the baby. Always share a different crib. Baby sleep in the crib, a bassinet, and a pack and play.
And I can see that probably happening when a mom is super tired,
Sure.
Right.
and that baby is just crying and
Sure.
crying and crying, and you
Sure.
don't know why the baby's crying. And you think, well, if I hold the baby, if I let the baby touch skin to skin, the baby is going to fall asleep. And so they put babies in bed with them. They hold the babies there, right?
Yeah.
But this is not what we want our young parents to do. Is that
Yes.
correct?
And our young parents should understand that the language babies speak is to cry. Babies cry when they're hungry. They cry when they need a diaper change. They cry when they're too hot. They cry when they're too cold. They cry when they want to be fed. As long as you fed your baby, you change the diaper, the environment temperature is okay. It's okay to keep your baby in a safe sleeping position. And just cuddle, sing to the baby, rather than hold the baby and let the baby sleep off on you while you're extremely tired. So we also talk about smoking. Smoke exposure has been found to also increase SIDS. You don't want to smoke around your baby. Alcohol use, you're intoxicated, the baby is beside you, you roll over the baby, and things happen. Previous history of a child dying from SID increases the chances that subsequent children would also die of SIDS. It doesn't mean it's going to happen, but you just have to be conscious and make the necessary effort to prevent it.
Absolutely.
Vicki, let me just say that we want grandmothers, aunties, mothers who have daughters of childbearing age to share this information with your daughter, because I'm telling you right now that it's hard to get messages to this. They're on TikTok and on social media, but they may not be listening to the radio right now.
That's
but
right.
You are listening to the radio right now. So we need for you to spread this message because it's really important. We know that most all mothers don't want their baby to die. We know that. We know that our mothers in Saginaw care about their infants, and the ones that die, it's heartbreaking. What we want to do is get the message out so that we don't want any more babies dying in Saginaw County, especially from sleep-related issues that are easily preventable.
Absolutely. And like you said, we don't want our babies to die. And the mental, after you've rolled over on your child, and that baby is now deceased, what's your mental state like? You know what I mean?
Yes, it has to be terrible.
Absolutely.
And you spend so much time, carrying this baby, having hopes and dreams of the baby's future, and then to lose the baby, that has to be just totally heartbreaking.
Absolutely, absolutely. And I remember when I was young, as a teenager, I remember someone I knew who did the same thing, put the baby in the bed and fell asleep and rolled over on that child. And the next day, that child was no longer alive. Devastation definitely took place because, like you say, you've carried your baby all that time. You watched it or felt it grow inside of you.
Yes.
As a mother, you're super excited. You know, my babe will be here soon, and you're imagining everything that you're going to do for this child and everything you're going to get. And, you know, life is just going to be beautiful. And then this happens.
Yeah.
It's really devastating when such a thing happens. And that is why we're here today, to spread out the message. Just like Dr. Pruitt said, it is a preventable thing. It's getting the right information and doing the right thing and making the baby safe.
And making the baby safe. Absolutely. And I like how you said, don't even put toys in the bed with the babe. Where we used to, you know, stick the little soft flush animals in there. Yeah. You know, it looks cute for one thing, and then you think, oh, this is going to be great for the babe, you know, maybe to touch. There's some kind of touch, some kind of feel there. But we're finding out that this is not the right thing to do. I always knew that you wouldn't put loose bedding in the bed and only put the fitted sheet on the bed, because the fitted is just what it is. It's fitted. So it's not going to come up. But that loose, the babe can get tangled up in it. And through the night, you may not hear. You might not know.
You don't hear.
Yeah.
You don't. And I think the bumper used to, back in the day, my kids are, 20, the oldest ones. And we used to put bumper in the bed where the baby can roll on the bumper. So that's all they're saying is a fitted sheet only. So we have to repeat the ABCs, because I want to make sure I get it right. Alone on your back and in a crib. The ABC, alone, back in the crib, or pack and play, so that nothing else is in there but that fitted sheet.
Absolutely. And I love the fact that you ladies are here today to get this information out to everyone who's listening. And just like you said, Dr. Delisha, that maybe the kids may not be listening, the young folks, but grandmas are. Grandmothers are listening. So we want to get that word out and spread it out to our young people today. And as we were talking, you know, like you said, they're probably not listening to radio.
No, they're not.
But we have to meet them where they are.
Yes.
So where they are on social media is IG, Instagram, right? TikTok, right? Snapchat. That's where we have to go and meet those students or meet those teenagers where they are. Our young moms, when you think about it, as a mother, we don't get a playbook as to how you're supposed to do all this, how you're supposed to raise them. So this is an opportunity, right, to get the word out to everyone who's listening, right?
It really is. And one of the things I want to say is that in Saginaw, our Black babies were Black infant mortality was 3 times higher than white infant mortality. So it's our Black babies, and the brunt of the number of babies dying came from the city of Saginaw.
Wow.
So we have to get this message out to say, you know, I'm not for sure why this is happening like this way, but if we know that there are parts of things that can be preventable, and safe sleep is one. You remember when we were young, and when I had my baby, I would prop the baby on the couch or put the baby in some place that's nice and soft and cushy.
Absolutely.
Because we didn't want in the corner of the couch, right? But you know what happened every time, and I could tell on myself, the baby was on the floor when I came back, it fell, right?
Or rolled over. Absolutely.
This would be another safe sleep situation. So that's why we said in a crib or pack and play with the fitted sheet on the crib, and that's it, because on that plush couch, the baby could turn and roll and smother themselves in that soft cushiness. So we want moms to know this is very important. We want our city of Saginaw moms to know this is very important, because the majority of the cases are coming straight from the city.
Wow. And you say that it's African American is 3 times more likely that this is happening to, right? Yeah. So when I read that, I thought, it seems like every case study that comes out, we're always highest on the numbers. And I often wonder why. And I ask myself, is it because we don't get the information that we need? Is it because we don't do follow-up care with our doctors? Is it because we don't get that prenatal care? Think about it. Sometimes teenagers, when they get pregnant, they don't tell anybody.
That's true.
They don't tell mom. They don't tell dad. They don't get that prenatal care that they need in the very beginning.
Right.
Am I right?
Yes.
You're right. The reasons could be multifactorial, just like you said. It's the information and the education, the resources that is available to them. For example, most teaching are done prenatally. Even while you're pregnant, they talk to you about all those things, how to take care of yourself. use of multivitamins,
Early.
good sleep, no smoking, no alcohol, no drugs, no other unprescribed medications. This is all for the baby's best interest, not just the baby, even the mother's best interest as well. So all this teaching starts even right from the child is in utero, is still in the mother's womb. And then the training and the teaching also continues even after the baby is born. So if you are lacking the prenatal care, you probably aren't getting that information. If you're not going for regular follow-ups, you're not probably getting this information. And that might be some of the reasons why there's a gap in the communication and the resources and the information for them.
And a lot of people have mistrust of the healthcare system, right? So you come in and you're not treated right. You caught the bus and you were late, and they say you can't be seen today because you're late. And so many access issues are a problem with people. And so then they decide, I just don't want to go. I'm just going to wait till I have the baby. And it actually is the wrong thing. I always tell people, if you don't find a doctor that you like, keep looking, because there's one out there that you can connect to that will help you out. But we tell moms even before, if you're considering getting pregnant, start taking a prenatal vitamin.
Absolutely.
I mean, so we start that early. Like, I'm thinking about it. I think I'm gonna come off my birth control. Okay, start taking prenatal vitamins. That helps because it's what we call congenital defects is one of the reasons why babies die, in addition to SIDS, in addition to maternal complications. I mean, and then the safe sleep issues. So there are a lot of reasons why this happens. But one of the things we have to say is we have to get prenatal care. 35% of moms in Saginaw County did not get early prenatal care.
Wow, that's a lot. That's a lot. So I'm wondering, and even maybe some didn't go back for their follow-up care, right? But could it also be possibly an insurance problem?
Definitely.
Maybe they didn't have insurance. Maybe they don't know what to do because they don't have insurance. So therefore, they're not going to get any care anyway. They figure, I can just do this on my own till it's time to have that baby, but didn't get that prenatal care.
One thing that's beautiful about Michigan is that if you are pregnant, you can apply for Medicaid, and most people who are pregnant can get it, but some people don't even know that, right?
No, they don't.
And they're trying to struggle with it on their own and don't even know and worry about, okay, this bill, because you know how often you have to see the doctor when you're pregnant? A lot.
Yes.
And every time, I'm sure it's a charge.
Absolutely.
But with insurance, you don't think about that, but without it, it's really difficult. So if you're pregnant right now and you don't have insurance, see if you qualify for Medicaid for being pregnant, because you could have coverage for the pregnancy.
I like that. I like that you said that, because I know that there's people out there who don't have insurance.
Right.
And so they don't know what to do.
Yes.
And therefore they do nothing.
Right.
And they need this education on what to do. As I say, we don't get a playbook on play by play what we need to do as a parent. And so a lot of times we're trying to figure it out. And you're a young person trying to figure out how to be a mom when sometimes you're just young and you're just a babe yourself.
And you know, Vicki, if you have one baby and you think you got it down, when you have the second one, that was totally different.
Yes.
And it's like, oh, I'm learning all over again.
Absolutely.
So it makes it hard.
It makes it very hard. So I am so glad that you ladies are here today to talk about safe sleep, separate sleep.
Yes.
When we say separate sleep, that means put the baby in its own bed.
In its own crib or pack and play, its own place.
In its own little safe place.
Sleeping.
Right. No holding the baby and falling asleep with the baby in your arms. Put the baby in its bed and put the baby in the correct way. And again, let's tell them how to put the baby in.
So ABC of safe sleep, the baby should be alone. Alone means not with a sibling, not with a pet, not with toys, not with blankets, just your baby in its onesie or in a swaddle or a sleep sack, alone on the bed. B is back. Baby should be on the back, not semi-inclined, not propped up, flat on the back. And C is in a crib. The crib could be a pack and play. It could be a bassinet crib. Baby alone in the crib.
If you're concerned that your baby's going to be cold, like some people say, my baby's going to be cold, then you put them on, in the sleeper, and a thick one, put a t-shirt underneath. But you want the baby to be well clothed. If you think the room is too hot, then make the temperature cooler in the room. But you don't add things in the bed to make the baby warmer, because it's just a threat that that baby could have that wrapped around the head and cause infant mortality.
Absolutely.
And I've heard some moms say, or parents say, oh, I have a baby monitor or an apnea monitor.
Yeah.
It's been proven that all these gadgets has not reduced the incidence of SAFE. So it is not of any use.
Right.
It has no benefit.
It has
just
no benefit.
Practice safe sleep and your baby should be fine. And no smoking around your baby. Also, we can't overemphasize that as well.
Absolutely. Because that baby is breathing in all that toxin that you're blowing out, right?
And then obligatory nasal breathers, meaning they can only breathe through their nose. If their nose is blocked, if they can't breathe well, they can't breathe in their mouth like you and I do.
Right.
So we want the environment, the hair, everything safe for the baby as well.
Absolutely. So once again, and we're talking about safe sleep, separate sleep, meaning that we want to keep our babes safe in the bed.
Yes.
Separate sleep means baby needs to sleep alone. Mom has to be in her or his own bed, and then baby needs to be in that babe's bed, right?
Yes.
So we're talking about this. So we also talked about meeting the young people where they are, where we can get the information to them. Knowledge is power. You can't say that enough, can we?
No.
Knowledge is power.
It's so important. That's why we want these grandmas and these elders in the family to carry this message to the young people, because knowledge is power. We want you to be knowledgeable, because we don't want the grandmas and the great aunt to them to say, no, put that baby on the stomach, because we've been doing this for years. That's what we're trying to do. Break that up, because we know better, we do better, and we now know that studies have shown the baby has to be on its back. So grandma out there, if you disagree, I want you to hear me very closely. It's not to prove it. We want this baby to live, and safe sleep can't be a major issue for us here in Saginaw. The baby has to be on the back.
Absolutely. So I love that. And we talked about the different places that you can go and that you can spread the word. Knowledge is power. So you already told me that you go to a lot of different events, right?
Yes, we do. So when there are different events in the community, the Latino Health Fair, we went to Gospel Fest. We came to a lot of different events to make sure that this message is out, so that parents will know. And there's so much room for more. Vicki and I, we were all talking about some things we can do. On April 11th of 2025, we're going to have a Be Well Summit where people can come from the public and get educated on obesity, safe sleep. We have mental health. We have all of the different buckets of Be Well that we're going to be educating on. But this one right here is near and dear to my heart, because as a mom, I couldn't imagine losing a baby, and we don't want to lose anymore.
Absolutely.
I also want to add, in addition, CMU Health got a grant, a $20,000
Yes, I was going to ask you about that.
To provide pack and play for babies, because we already understand that some, because of resources, they don't have the safe equipment to place their baby in. So CMU Health has pack and plays. We have about 285 pack and plays that we give out to mothers.
And this is free, because you received the $20,000 grant, right?
Yes.
And that was for that purpose?
That was for that
to
purpose.
buy pack and plays.
Yes.
So, all right. So if there's a young mother out there and she needs this pack and play, what does she do? Where does she go?
So they have to come to her clinic.
Okay.
And then just express interest that, oh, I need a pack and play. And we've been giving it out to our patients.
Okay.
We come because every time we talk about safe sleep, do you have, like, some babies are in the bassinet, they need to transition to a bigger space.
Right.
So we ask them, do you have this? If you don't, we give them right there in the clinic. They carry the new set of pack and play and they take home with them.
Covenant has them also, and Great Lakes Bay has some too. So just know that in different centers, the grant was given from the perinatal quality collaborative that we have here in Saginaw. And so there are different places where you can pick up pack and plays for moms. This is really important. We're trying to be a part of the solution. CMU has also centering pregnancy, centering parenting and pregnancy. So we have both of those where there are group educational sessions where mom can sign up and be a part of that. And don't forget that Great Lakes Bay has the doula program, which is also helping. People don't think about this indirectly because they help all the way through the pregnancy, and then they stay with the mom after the pregnancy, I believe up to a year, just to help, because infant mortality looks at death from 1 year and younger. And so they stay with the mom up to a year. So we have a lot of different programs in our community working to tackle this problem.
Wow. Now, this is great because I can guarantee you there are a lot of people out there that don't know about those programs.
Exactly.
They don't know about the doula.
Yes.
They don't know about the pack and plays that you're giving out free.
Yeah.
They don't know about that. And then you said something about centering. What does that actually mean?
So centering involves, the centering pregnancy in which women of the same pregnancy stage all come together as a group.
Okay.
So they all grow together and they graduate until the babies are born.
Oh.
So up until the age of 2 years, they are all forming a community of their own, of children of similar age. One, they're bonding, the children are interacting, we're providing information for them.
Yes.
So all the stages of anticipatory guidance, we're giving it to them even as the child grows up. This is something we do in CMU Health, and it's been very fantastic.
I mean, and then when the mom comes with the baby, when they come, they can choose something nice for the baby, a new diapers, bottles, clothes, and all that kind of stuff when you're a part of the centering program.
Wow. Okay. Yeah. So one of our listeners just sent me a text message that said, please explain what pack and play is.
Oh, okay.
Where we may know, we need to break it down so that the person that's listening might know exactly what it is, because we got some new young mothers, as I say. They don't come with playbooks as to what we need to do when it comes to raising a child or when we're a new parent. And sometimes some of our kids are babies themselves and they have no idea. All right. So break it down. What is a pack and play? What do we do with that?
Yeah, so a pack and play is just it's almost like a gated area that has a flat bottom on it, and it has some of them have a little mattress on there, and then they have a level on the top of it where you can change a diaper. You can attach a diaper changing section on top, and you can change a diaper. So it's similar to a crib, but it's lower, right? It's more lower to the floor than a crib. Is a little higher. It keeps the baby higher. The beauty of the pack and play is that literally you can pack it up. It kind of folds together and you can carry it in the car and you can take it to different areas. So you might have a crib at home, but they're going to grandma's house. You could take the pack and play. She may not have a crib, so you can take the pack and play with you. So literally the child can play in this area and it's enclosed. So the child can play in the area. They can sleep in the area. And then you can take this and fold it up and put it in the car and take it away.
Okay, so it is sort of like what I was thinking it was. I don't know if they called it pack and play back in the day. They called it something else, didn't they?
I'm trying to think like this whole time. I'm like, what did they call it?
Yeah, I know I'm dating myself, but it wasn't called that back in the day. But that is exactly what it is. So this is wonderful that young moms can come and get a pack and play.
Yes.
Don't have to pay for it.
No.
If you don't have any money, and a lot of our young folks don't have that money. And this is wonderful because if you had to buy it yourself, I'm sure that it probably costs quite a bit.
Yeah, they're expensive.
Yeah.
I mean, close to $100 or so. You might get them a little bit cheaper, on a sale or something, but it's expensive.
All right. Well, you ladies have done a wonderful job explaining safe sleep, separate sleep. Again, safe sleep. We want to make sure that the baby is safe, and in separate sleep, they're going to be in their own area, their own bed with a fitted sheet, nothing else. If the baby's cold, put it in a little onesie and keep the baby warm that way. If it's cool, take off some of the clothing. I appreciate you coming in today and talking with me. Thank you so very much. I have Dr. Delisha Pruitt and Dr. Fatority. Did I get that right?
Yes.
I did. Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Okay.
Thank
Bye.
you.
heart's in agony, because right now we can't stand to see you coming. You stink, dog. Kiss 107.1, simply the best R&B.
It's Straight Talk, straight with no chaser. It's Straight Talk with Kareem Bowen, getting right to the heart of the matter, giving you all of what's happening in Saginaw and the Great Lakes Bay region, all at a grassroots level. Sundays at 6 p.m. on Kiss 107.1.
And now back to Community Connections on Kiss 107.1.
Welcome back to Community Connections, community talk for community people. I am your host today, and I am Vicki Hild, and I'm sitting in for Joyce Harvin, she will be back on next week, next Sunday. My second guest for today is Pastor Michael Hayes and First Lady Bridget Hayes. Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you. It is a pleasure to be here, to be on the radio with no other than the famous Miss Vicki Hill.
Well, thank you. I like that. Maybe we need to repeat that one.
Come on here. We can repeat it.
I like that. I appreciate you two coming in today. And we've got a little bit to talk about today. So I've been told that there's something very special that's coming up, right?
Yes.
And it's called the Authority Conference.
Yes, ma'am.
Is that
absolutely.
Right?
That is
okay,
correct.
So let's go with that name, the Authority.
Oh,
Conference.
come on here. Let's talk about
what does that mean, the Authority?
The Authority Conference was a conference that was birthed that God gave us probably about 6 or 7 years ago now. We had it for several years when COVID shut down. We stopped. And then this is actually the first year we have been back in the building, and we decided to pick up the Authority Conference.
Wow.
Yes,
okay.
ma'am.
All right. So it's been going on for how long now?
About 7 years.
7 years.
Correct.
But did it shut down at COVID time? Is that what took place?
Correct.
All right. So it shut down when COVID took over.
Correct.
And then so after that, now we're back into doing the Authority
We
Conference.
are back at the Authority Conference.
It sounds like you're real excited about it.
We are very excited about it.
Yeah.
You know, God has given us a mandate. I don't want to go too Bible on you, Miss Vicki, but
No,
we'll be here for longer than 15 minutes, ma'am.
I know when you give a preacher, a pastor, a microphone, we just sit back. We know.
Yes, ma'am. But you know, it really talks about the book of Genesis 1 and 26. When you look at it in the Amplified version, it says, "Give mankind complete authority in the earth." And one of the things that I truly believe that as the body of Christ, we really need to step up and really walk in that complete authority. And that's what really kind of birthed the name Authority Conference. So,
okay. Well, it sounds like it's going to be a great conference. I've not had a chance to attend, and hopefully I'll get a chance to attend.
Come on over, Miss Vicki. We would love to showcase Miss Vicki Hill.
Well, you don't have to showcase me, but I love to support. That's just me. I love to support. It's happening on September 27th through the 29th. Now, tell me about some of the guests. We'll start out with Friday night. Friday night, you've got psalmist Londell Cook.
Oh, yeah. Come on here. And if you know Mr.
Londell,
you know Londell, he is going to bring a whole lot of energy.
Yes, he is. He's going to take everybody in. So
yes.
You're going to go in with him whether you want to or not.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yes. And you know, Brother Londell, he came over and he supported our church during COVID, actually, for about 2.5 years or so. So he is a brother and a friend of our church, very familiar with how we flow. So I thought it would just be very important to bring him back in. A very good fit for what we are really attempting to do this year. So it is going to be really, really good Friday
Absolutely. Night. And First Lady, then we'll talk to you about the guest speaker on that Friday night.
Our guest speaker for Friday night is Norris Johnson II. He's also my nephew. He's from Racine, Wisconsin, and they're from Reconciliation Ministries. And he's just a powerful influencer. You can look him up on Facebook and kind of see the things that he do. He travels all over the states, just like walking in authority. So we thought he would be a great person to kick us off for the Authority Conference this year.
Absolutely. You said he's walking in authority, so it fits right in with that title there, right?
He does.
Okay.
And we mixed Londell in there with that because he sings with authority. So he
preaches
with authority. So we just thought that would be a good kickoff for our first day.
Absolutely. And then we're going to go, we're going to Saturday?
Saturday, we have Apostle Ron Frierson from the New Covenant Christian Center right here in Saginaw, Michigan. And with Pastor Frierson, we wanted a voice of authority. We wanted a father figure to kind of come minister to the people and just get our leadership roles kind of flowing. So we thought he would be a good addition for this year's authority conference.
Absolutely. Now, it says there's a workshop. So what's happening with the workshop? Are there different classes? And tell us about it.
We'll let Pastor kind of break down the workshop a little bit for us.
Yeah, so the workshop is going to be conducted by Apostle Ron Frierson right here in Saginaw. So it's only going to be one workshop. We didn't do classes this year based upon, having the availability of Apostle Ron. We just really want him to really just minister or to present in several different areas. I've given him a few things that I would like for him to touch on, just so that he can provide that fatherly leadership role that we often miss inside the church. We don't really have a lot of fathers in the church, especially here in the city of Saginaw anymore. A lot of our fathers have passed on. And it's a lot of young preachers with a whole lot of energy. And one thing about a father can come in and he can set the temple of the house. So that's the reason why we really went after Apostle Ron this year. We want him to come in and kind of set the house.
And this year is really important as well because our church, we're the nation's church, but we are formerly known as Greater All Nations Prayer Tower, up under the Papa Lewis Bishop, and he's gone on to glory. And so this is our first year without him. So we really needed a voice of the Father this year. So we thought Apostle Ron would be great for that.
And it's funny that you say what your name used to be, because when Joyce asked me to interview you, I said, "Oh, you're talking about Prayer Tower."
Right. And that was the name before Greater All Nations Prayer Tower.
Exactly. And then we break it down to Sunday service at 11:30 a.m. We have Prophet Pierre and State Supervisor Alethea Taylor.
Yes.
Right? Tell me about them.
And we thought they would be great because she's the daughter of the house. That's Papa Bishop's daughter, and so we just thought in the spirit of family, everything rises and falls on the family. So we just thought they would be a good addition. Her husband walks in authority prophetically as well. And she ministers and sings under authority. So we thought they would be a good addition to this conference this year.
She's such a wonderful person.
She is.
I love her spirit. Just love her spirit. So this sounds like a very nice conference. So your church is located at 608 South 20th Street, right?
Correct.
That's where the Nation's Church is.
Yes.
Formerly known. Okay,
formerly known
as Prayer Tower.
Just in case somebody didn't know that, we know where to find you. So the conference is called the Authority Conference. It's going to be a beautiful conference happening on September the 27th through the 29th. Tell us, why should we come to this conference? Are we coming in expecting something? Are we going to get something? We got some prizes in the corner. What's going on?
If you really would like to take up and really begin to walk in the authority in your local home, in your community, and in the school, whatever function that you may have inside the city of Saginaw, Flint, Bay City, Midland, whatever it is, if you feel that there is something missing inside of you and you really long to have the authority that God has mandated in the earth for his people, you need to be in the house.
Absolutely. And I love the fact how you said if something is missing, if you need something.
Yes,
These
ma'am.
days, when you think about it, there are a lot of people that are missing a lot of things and they need something. And sometimes they don't know exactly what they need until they're there. And sometimes they may even come and sit there and say, "I'm just here." But then that powerful anointing falls
Come
down,
on here.
right?
Come on.
And they hear that great word, and that word begins to prick their heart.
Yes.
And when the word begins to prick their heart, something else happens.
Yes, ma'am.
Right?
Absolutely. And that's that transformation.
Our
our really vision for our ministry, we call it TIE, TIE, transform, inspire, and empower.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah, it is we really believe it is our mission, part of our mission here on earth, to tie the world back to God. So we are standing in the middle as people of faith between God and this world. All right. And it's our responsibility to bring the two parties together. All right. Jesus has already freed us so that now any and everybody can walk right to God. But how do we do it? Well, come on over to the Nations Church. Let us show you how to walk back to God.
Right.
I
And
like
this
that.
this conference, I think, is it's going to be a catalyst for helping people to understand the total person, where it's going to minister to the whole man, not just a spiritual experience, but you're going to have a natural, physical, emotional, a mental experience. It's going to be something that really takes you back to a place of wholeness like God intended for us to be.
Absolutely. You know, I said this morning when I was talking, I do heart to heart at 10 o'clock. And part of it I was saying, you know, sometimes you just don't know until you actually talk to a person where they are.
Absolutely.
They could be actually on the edge, about to fall over, jump
Absolutely.
off. And it could be just those words that they hear.
Yes,
it could
ma'am.
be in your conference that they
Mhm.
hear that word that's going to prick their heart, that's going to
Absolutely.
make them think, I can make it just a little bit further.
Yes, ma'am.
Absolutely.
I
Absolutely.
could go just another step.
Mhm.
You know, I believe that the Lord is going to take me through, right?
Come
Am I
on.
right?
Come
Yes,
on.
ma'am. You are preaching. Come on here. But yes, and if you cannot be in the building, we do stream all of our services. Just go right to Facebook, the Nations Church, and we can definitely tag you. I'll bring you right into the right into our service as well.
But I think the experience will be much more enriching for
Oh,
you
yes.
if you kind of put your feet on the soil of the Nations Church, because we've been praying and we're just believing that God's anointing, he always rests in our building. You're going to always have an experience with him when you show up. But on Friday, the 27th, and then that Saturday and that Sunday, he's going to be thick in the room. The glory of the Lord is going to be waiting for the people so that there can be true transformation in their lives. So,
Absolutely. So once again, go ahead and invite everybody that's listening, and
Yes.
actually they can see you as well.
Absolutely. Well, hey, everyone. We certainly do want to invite you to the Authority Conference, which is September the 27th through the 29th, right at the Nations Church, 608 South 20th Street, Saginaw, Michigan, 48601. If you need more information, you can definitely go right to our Facebook page, or you can just go and even call or even email, whatever the case may be. The Nations Church, and we'll certainly, we even have services for vans. So if you have a problem getting there, if there's a transportation issue, just contact the church, 989-754-7311, and we can definitely get you right into the building all 3 days.
Oh, no, that's good. That's good, because there are some people out there who do not have rights and they can't get there, even though they may want to. I like the fact that you can still see, you know, the services online. I like that.
Yes, ma'am.
But it's nothing like being in the building.
Nothing
of the
like
church,
being
right?
there.
No.
Absolutely.
I always say that on Sunday. There's nothing like a Sunday morning service.
Come
a
on
Sunday
here.
morning praise.
Yeah.
You know, because we wait all week.
Right.
All week long.
To
We praise
get
him
there.
all week.
Yes.
But when we get there on Sunday, we can just really let it go,
we
right?
can let it
We
all
can put
out.
it all out there on the altar. And I believe that's what we can do in this Authority Conference.
Yes, ma'am.
We can come finding and looking for what we need, what we
Absolutely.
definitely need, right?
Correct. Absolutely.
Absolutely. So the Authority Conference is happening on September 27th through the 29th. It's going to be at the Nations Church. Location is 608 South 20th Street. If you do not have a ride, give them that number again so they can get that ride.
Area code 989-754-7311. Or
All
you can
right.
even email us at admin, ADMIN, at thenationschurch.com.
And we can find you where online?
You can find us at thenationschurch.com.
All right, the
Facebook
nationschurch.com.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. That is really wonderful. Any last words you want to say before we get off with this?
It has just been a pleasure being a part of Miss Vicki here and her little
Absolutely.
her area, allowing us to come in and just have a little couple of minutes to be able to share some things with her. So
You are so
thank you so
welcome.
much, Miss Vicki.
You are so welcome. Actually, this is Joyce's show. I'm just
Oh,
kind of
look at-
taking it over for today, and she will be back on next week.
All right.
But she allows me at times when I've got a longer interview to come on in and do what I need to do. So thank you, Joyce. I know she's listening.
Appreciate
So
you, Miss
I
Joyce.
appreciate Pastor Hayes, First Lady Hayes. I appreciate you both being here. Looking forward to the Authority Conference. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank
God
you.
bless.
God bless.
You're listening to Community Connections with Joyce Harvin on KISS 107.1.
Donald Trump's back, and he's out for control.
I would have every right to go after them.
Complete control.
I will wield that power very aggressively.
And he has a plan to get it.
detailed plans for exactly what our movement will do.
It's called Project 2025, a 922-page blueprint to make Donald Trump the most powerful president ever, overhauling the Department of Justice, giving Trump the unchecked power to seek vengeance, eliminating the Department of Education, and defunding K-12 schools, requiring the government to monitor women's pregnancies, and Trump has also proposed severe cuts to Medicare and Social Security. Those are Donald Trump's plans.
Well, revenge does take time, I will say that. And sometimes revenge can be justified.
He'll take control. We'll pay the price.
I'm Kamala Harris, candidate for president, and I approve this message. Paid for by Harris for President.
Take $9 grand off MSRP. Pay 0% for 48 months and make no payments for 90 days. Or buy a brand new McDonald's Kia for under 20 grand. Currently stuck in a loan or lease? Mac the Trade Man will get you released. You don't need a sports betting app to be a winner. Get to McDonald's Kia and get $9 grand off MSRP on every clearly marked EV in stock. Have a job clearing $450 per week? McDonald's Kia wants to approve you today with 0 down and 0 payments for 90 days. New Kia Forte or Soul LX, just $19,995. That's less than most used vehicles, but only while supplies last. So bring any trade to Mac the Trade Man and get up to 120% over KBB fair market value for your trade. Only at McDonald's. Kia.com. On approved credit, not all will qualify. Tax, title, license, and 230 title and registration processing fee. Negative equity added to new loan. Rebates and incentives to dealer. Offers not in combination. Kia EV cash and dealer discount. 0%. 2083 per thousand borrowed through KMF. Expires 9/30/24. It's Straight Talk, straight with no chaser. It's Straight Talk with Kareem Bowen, getting right to the heart of the matter, giving you all of what's happening in Saginaw and the Great Lakes Bay region, all at a grassroots level. Sundays at 6 p.m. on KISS 107.1.
And now back to Community Connections on KISS 107.1.
Welcome back to Community Connections, community talk for community people. Your host today, myself, Miss Vicki Hill. Listen, I do want to let you know just a couple announcements, all right? So the Saginaw branch of the NAACP is celebrating 105 years of advocacy at the 53rd Annual Freedom Fund Celebration. All right, it's going to take place on Sunday, September the 22nd, and it's held at the Horizons Conference Center. If you have not gotten your ticket, I suggest that you do so. It's always such a wonderful event. They always have such a wonderful speaker that's always at the events, and we learn so much information. It's a great event that you need to go to, all right? It's nothing like experiencing the Saginaw Branch NAACP's Freedom Fund Award, all right? So make sure you write that down on your calendar. I also want to let you know that Victorious Believers Ministries has their food giveaway on next Tuesday, all right, the 17th. It starts at 11 a.m., but when I tell you that you need to get there before 11, do not wait until 10:30, quarter to 11 to come and get in that line. People are in that line as early as 6 o'clock. I know that's quite early, but you know, when you need that food, you want to be in that line to get that food. You get 2 boxes if it's 2 families in the car, all right? If it's only 1 family, 1 box per person. Now, you don't have to show ID. All you have to do is show up and be ready to open up the trunk, and we are going to load your trunk with food. And I say we because I'm always there. I'm always helping out. You know, I'm always out there in the community doing whatever I can. And besides, I love to help. So once again, it's happening on the 17th, which is Tuesday at 11 a.m. Make sure that you are there and you are in that line early so that you can get the food that we are giving away. Women of Colors is inviting you to their open house / ribbon cutting. All right. The grand celebration is going to take place on October the 17th at 3 p.m. and it's going to go until 6:30. This is going to be a grand celebration. Finally, after 31 years, Women of Colors has their own building. All right. Now, we were in the Success Academy, and I say we because I am, a vice president of Women of Colors. So we were in Success Academy, but when the high schools merged, they needed their space. So we had to find somewhere else. We are now located at 3057 Davenport Avenue. So just come on out on the 17th. We are looking forward to that grand celebration. There will also be a raffle and a silent auction. All right. So come out and celebrate with us. We would love to see you. We would love to show you this building that we have been praying for such a long time. And it is finally here. Once again, the ribbon cutting ceremony is taking place on Thursday, October the 17th from 3 p.m. until 6:30. We would love to see you there. And last but not least, I'm going to give you my thought for today. I gave it to you twice already this morning, and here it is a third time for those who did not hear the thought of the day. Here's the thought of the day. The smile on my face doesn't mean my life is perfect. It means that despite my challenges, I choose to focus on my blessings. Some days it takes a lot of work just to be okay. If you get tired, learn to rest, but don't quit. Your blessings are on the way. You've been listening to Community Connections, Community Talk for Community People. I'm your host for today, Miss Vicki Hill. Miss Joyce Harvin will be back next week. Thank you for tuning in.
You've been listening to Community Connections with Joyce Harvin on KISS 107.1. The views and opinions expressed on